Good evening, everyone. I am still very heavy in heart and experiencing a lot of distress with all that's going on right now. Yesterday, I was meant to be teaching a day-long retreat with 3 other colleagues of mine, and we changed what we planned on doing. And instead of having a day-long retreat celebrating Pride as part of the LGBT community, we shifted the format and the theme to give us some time to process, grieve, and to find a way to respond to the tragic events of what's been going on in this country. Recently, George Floyd was tragically killed by police officers. And this is very soon after Ahmaud, Arbery, and Breonna Taylor experienced also death at the hands of police officers. And so we have protests happening all over this country, and there are protests happening in London and in Amsterdam and in Cape Town in South Africa and Berlin, Germany, in support of Black Lives Matter and in support of finding a way to address systemic oppression and racism and move more towards what is just, what is equitable. It's very unusual that I speak about this in the context of guiding a meditation. Normally, when I'm guiding a meditation, I just keep it exclusively to themes of the Dhamma, to principles of compassion and loving kindness. And while I tie things in with current events, I don't often focus on the current events very much. But tonight, I want to make an exception because I have been impacted, as has been most of the people that I know and my family and friends and many of my colleagues we are filled with the heartbreak and the devastation. And as white people, I'm a white person, I sit in a place of privilege, and it's really a choice as to when I open up to these things, look at them, and for many others, it's not a choice. So the meditation tonight is going to be a visualization and an opportunity to drop in and resource ourselves and to feel our connection in our own body, heart, and mind, and in a field that is healthy and wholesome. And from that, find what is true for us in terms of how we can respond and how we can engage and what we might do as a response. And again, this is also unusual for me because it's very rare in a context like this, which is open and public, and it wasn't pre-established that this was going to be a situation for an engaged practice, that I focus the meditation in a way that allows us to come up with an engaged response. Normally, I leave it in people's hands to decide how they wish to respond and if they wish to respond. And tonight, there'll be a little bit more direction to connect with these themes and find what we might do and how we can respond to them. So first, I'd like to invite you in your own space to feel your body, to feel the weight of your body and the shape of your body, and the space that you are occupying. And now just take a moment and look around. And as you're looking around, I'm going to set my timer so that I don't go too long on this guided meditation. So excuse me for a moment. And as you're looking around, what I want you to notice is both the things in the room that are familiar, just what you recognize, what looks like where you left it. And just take a moment and notice the absence of things in your room right now around you that is dangerous, that is scary. And as you notice what's absent, the absence of scary things right in your room, notice if there's a very slight shift in your breath, in the way that you elongate your spine, and the tension in your shoulders, in your jaw, behind your eyes. Now, if it feels easeful for you, I invite you to close your eyes, as I will. And join me on a journey about 6.5 hours away from here into a redwood forest that's close to the coast. That's an ancient old grove of redwoods. And we gather in a campground and we cross over a footbridge over the Snake River. And as we're walking over the footbridge and we see how crystal clear the water is, and know that salmon and trout live in the water even though we can't see any, it just begins to help orient us as to where we are. And as we enter into the forest, just struck by this quality of presence that's in the air. There's an aliveness, a sweetness that's in the air. And that we just notice how soft and spongy the earth is underneath us, receiving each of our footsteps. And we see the trees around us, magnificent trees, young trees, well-established trees, and ancient giants, 20 feet across, many thousands of years old, elders, ancient ones that have seen and lived through a lot. Wars, and famines, and droughts, and fires, and storms, and winds, and hurricanes, and floods. And there's a presence in this redwood grove. It's like a poignant stillness. Stillness is not an absence of sound because you can hear birds, and chipmunks, and squirrels. It's a stillness that's penetrating underneath the sound. And so we just notice that we can take a deeper breath in and feel a deeper breath out. And every single one of us goes and we find a redwood tree that feels like the right tree for us, whether it's close to the water or it's by a rock. Whether it's one of several in a circle, whether it's got a hollow that we clamber into so that we are embraced by the tree, whether we lean up against it with our back or we lie down in front of it. We find the way of being with this tree that feels easeful, supportive, nourishing, peaceful. And just take a couple of moments and just breathe. This grove has been here for millions of years. Millions of years. And just allow the sweetness of the air to fill you up and nourish you and feed you, restore you. And allow each out-breath to relax you and to release everything that no longer serves us, our stale air. Our thoughts that aren't helpful. And as we breathe in and breathe out, filling ourselves with the nourishment of this fresh air that's suffused with presence. With ourselves being held and supported by the tree, by the earth underneath us, and by the many ancient ones that stand in presence around us. We can relax our vigilance here. We're safe here. We are nourished here. We are supported here. Breathing in and breathing out, filling up what is nourishing and invigorating, soothing, filled with presence, imbued with stillness and silence underneath sound. Letting go of old air, of tension, letting go of what no longer serves. Now this canopy that is above us, it's been there for millions of years, even if it hasn't been the same trees, takes up our used and spent CO2, the air that's stale, and turns it into this fresh, sweet, aromatic, nourishing air that we breathe in, we breathe out. The trees take it in and release oxygen that we breathe in. There's this natural give and take. And so in this environment where there's this easy give and take, it's completely effortless. That also allows us to relax. Trust. Allow our vigilance to calm down, to feel some safety and support. And the roots underneath each of our trees, it extends out many hundreds of feet and interlocks with the trees all around, creating both a structural support, a system of communication, and a mechanism for sharing resources, so that if one tree is in an area that's rich in one particular mineral, and another tree 500 feet away is deficient, they share it on the root system, naturally sharing more than they need with those around. And so part of our nervous system relax, being in the system, this web of life that has integrity, mutuality, is so grounded and so responsive. And so in this grove, we can just touch our own heartache, body ache, disorientation, and allow the tree that we are leaning against or in front of or enveloped by to hold us. As we breathe in and breathe out through our grief, through our anger, through our outrage, through our fear, through our concern, through our numbness, through our distraction. And we can invite our close friends and family into this grove with us and see them filled up with this nourishing air. Allow them in our own mind's eye to start to relax and rest and feel support and safe, just as we do here. And knowing that our family and our friends, our dear ones, are here, each with their own tree, also helps us to relax. We don't need to worry about them. And so even though each of us is at our own tree, we feel the connection and the closeness being in this grove together, breathing the same sweet air, feeling the earth soft and spongy supporting us. Now I'd like to invite each of us to imagine the families of George Floyd, of Ahmaud, of Breonna, Taylor, also in this grove with us, each at their own tree, each being filled up with this nourishing, sweet air, held and embraced by these ancient ones. Seeing each of them supported and nourished and fed, holding them in their grief, in their anger, in their outrage, in their loss. And in our own minds, we can see them getting support from the tree, from the air, from the connection, from the reciprocity of giving and taking, from the holding, from our care, our thoughts of kindness, our good wishes, goodwill. And as we do this, just notice what happens in our own body, sensations in our heart, feelings in our abdomen, experience in our back, the changes in our breath. The quality and the tenor of our mood and the thoughts that pass through in our mind. See them safe and supported and protected in this field, this web of life, this grove that nourishes and holds and protects. And if you feel called, you can invite others into this grove. Other family members of people who have recently died into this grove. They too are held and supported as they grieve. Now come back to your own body, heart, and mind. Feel your weight in the space that you occupy. Feel the support that you have around you. Feel the support of these ancient ones around you. Feel the support of your family and your friends around you and your ancestors around you. And I want to ask you a question. If you were 10 times stronger than you normally think you are, if you lived with the awareness of ancient ones holding you that have got your back, if you knew that your family supported you completely, your friends completely supported you, if you had the blessing and the support of the families of each of these people that died, what one thing might you do that's within your capacity to respond in a way that will make a difference? Remembering you are 10 times more powerful than you normally think you are. You are more rooted. You are more grounded. You are more resilient. And you are surrounded by your friends, your family. You are empowered by the family of these men and women who've recently died. And you are held and empowered by the ancestors and these ancient ones that have weathered so much. What one thing can you do in response that makes a difference? Now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to again open your eyes and look around the room. Notice what's the same and notice what's different. And then I'd like you to take a pen and paper and write down some of the things that come to you with this question, knowing you are 10 times more powerful than you normally think you are, and that you are connected and supported and resourced in all of these ways. So take a time, write these things down. What is it? What's coming alive for you? What is yours to do? Now, just before I came onto this call today, we had an Awakening Truth board meeting. And the topic of Dana again was raised. And the board members asked me to speak about Dana because Awakening Truth is founded on the principles of generosity and kindness, and it's the only way that it has survived for all these years that it has been in operation. Generosity is the capacity to give. It's the recognition of the principle that giving is a fundamental tenet of our path of awakening, an important feature that is needed to cultivate, to be cultivated, to give us the strength to weather the storms that we experience in our own hearts and minds and in this world. Generosity is a gift, and it's a gift both for the one who gives, and it's a gift for the one who receives. Generosity is about giving time, about giving intellectual property, about giving support, about giving financial resources. Awakening Truth is an organization that lives based on people's donations, and it also can use help. And right now, there are many places that need help, many people that need help, many organizations that need help. So I ask, in the cultivation of generosity, to give what you can, to give what is sustainable, what is affordable, in terms of your energy, your time, and your resources, particularly to what you came up with as the one thing that you can do to make a difference. So I will leave it here for now, and I tend to my own grieving process, and I'm trying as best as I can to stay on the side of ease rather than in distress. And I wish the same for everyone. Bye for now.